Benghazi. We've spent a lot of time at this network talking about it, and frankly, you know, there are a lot of remaining questions, and nobody has sort of sat down from the administration, just sort of set out what happened. We get little bits and pieces. We've had some weird stories about videos. We've had, I mean, it's very sort of an incomplete picture. Other news organizations aren't particularly pursuing this. We are, and a few others. I'm curious, is Benghazi an issue that that is one that is in any way related to will the voters have any interest in it?
It's enormous in terms of the election. I was talking with Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, who said that every victory center he went to on Saturday in Wisconsin, people were saying to him, tell me about Benghazi. The places I visited in Ohio yesterday, the places I've been to in Missouri today, people have been asking about Benghazi. There is a rumor, I want to be clear, it's a rumor, that at least two networks have emails from the National Security Advisor's office telling a counterterrorist group to stand down, that there were a group in real time trying to mobilize the Marines and the C-130s and the fighter aircraft, and they were told explicitly by the White House, stand down and do nothing. This is not a terrorist action. If that's true, and I've been told this by a fairly reliable U.S. senator, if that's true and that comes out in the next day or two, I think it raises enormous questions about the President's role, Tom Donilon, the National Security Advisor's role, the Secretary of Defense, Leon Panetta, who has taken on his own shoulders that he said don't go. I think that's very dubious, given that the President has said he issued instructions that they're supposed to do anything they could to secure American personnel. Now, which is it? I mean, is the Secretary of Defense usurping the Commander-in-Chief? Or, in fact, did Obama not issue that order? I think you are going to see this come back tomorrow and the next day. It was suspended for 2 days by the storm coverage, which dominated everything. But I think tomorrow, as the storm begins to recede, you'll see Benghazi come back. The other big story that's going to break, I think, is on corruption and extraordinary waste in the solar power grants and a direct involvement by the Obama White House, including the President, in the solar power grants involving billions of dollars. And I suspect that's going to break Wednesday and Thursday of this week.
Well, you know, the Benghazi story, I regret that it's coming out now because, you know, no matter, there's going to be criticism that anyone who pursues it's doing it for political reasons or whatever. And, you know, we did have 4 Americans die, and we do have inconsistent stories or different lines, and the American people ought to be able, and the families find out what happened. That seems like the right thing to do, at least in my mind. And I think that when you have 2 different stories, you should try to, you know, pursue the government and get the right story. But it is, you know, it's unfortunately sort of, you know, looped into this election time. And I think it makes it almost, you know, unfortunate, because I think, you know, I'd like to see what happened. I'd like the administration to speak out about it. Do you agree that the timing's unfortunate?
I think the timing is terrible, and you have to say to yourself, it's been over 6 weeks. Why has the President of the United States, his National Security Advisor, his Secretary of State, his Secretary of Defense, the Director of National Intelligence, why haven't they been able to come clean with the American people and tell us the truth? I mean, this is not that hard. All the documents have to be available. It should be possible to sort it out. And instead, this has been, frankly, a cover-up. And you're right. It's sad that it's happening just before an election. But it has been over 6 weeks now, and we can't get the facts out of this administration about an incident which is a pretty big deal. 4 Americans killed, including an American ambassador, an American facility. It now turns out it may not have technically been a consulate. That's the latest story today. It may have been, quote, a facility, which has a different legal framing. I mean, this is a mess. We apparently lost a number of secret documents. We have no idea what those secret documents are. There was no effort to help, and we now know, because of Colonel Bing West's excellent work, that there were, in fact, Marines available. There were C-130s available. There were fighter aircraft available both in Turkey and in Sicily. Help could have gotten there in about an hour in terms of air power and about 2 hours in terms of Marines. The fight went on for almost 7 hours. The 2 SEALs were not killed until 4:20 in the morning. I mean, this is really a terrible, terrible situation.
Speaker, you mentioned Bing West. He's joining us in just a few moments, and thank you for joining us tonight. I hope you join us before election night.
Look forward to it very much.
Thank you, sir. Straight ahead.